Welcome to Making Books in Kigali, where we discover the stories of social entrepreneurs and the businesses shaping the literary landscape in Rwanda and across Africa. Join us as we dive into the pages of determination, innovation, and passion, showcasing the voices behind the books that bridge cultures and ignite imaginations. Get ready to be inspired by the unsung heroes of the Rwandan and African publishing sector right here on Making Books in Kigali. Making Books in Kigali is sponsored by Right Venture Creatives and the Kigali Arts Center. Right Venture is an audio-visual creative agency with over 8 years of experience in the production of social behavior change communication materials. Please check their platforms online and reach out to them. Our guest today is Maureen Masamba from Malawi, the publishing manager of Dzuka Publishing Company, and she's the president of the Book Publishers Association in Malawi, and she's also the board secretary of African Publishers Network that is widely known as APNET. Hi Maureen, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi Catherine, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. I'm so excited for this episode because it's like a first of a 3-episode series I will make this month to celebrate the rights of women. And through these episodes, we're going to reflect on the role of women in publishing in Africa and why it is so much important to empower women in this particular industry. And I'm so glad to start with a strong, inspiring woman like you, a woman that I admire a lot.
Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah, thank you. And with you, we're going to discuss like leadership and women's roles and presence in publishing, book publishing on the continent, but particularly in Malawi. And welcome again.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here and to interact and talk about books, which is my passion. And being a woman, obviously, issues to do with women are of my interest. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Catherine.
Yes, very welcome. So I'm going to start with questions. And my very first question will be on the challenges women face in the publishing industry in Malawi. Can you share us more about that?
Okay, I think it will sound better if I give a background of the so-called publishing industry in Malawi.
Yes.
So that when we continue with the conversation, it will be in sync with the foundation that I would have laid as to how the industry is structured in my country, in Malawi. Mm-hmm. For starters, I guess not a very good note to start with. As an industry, publishing industry in Malawi, it's not a sector that is fully recognized as an industry. Mm-hmm. What I mean is that at government level, it's not one of the industries that is recognized as a discipline to add value in terms of economic development. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it is us. We call it an industry, publishing industry, but mm-hmm. but really, I don't think as a country we can come out there and say we have a publishing industry in Malawi. We have publishers in the country who have grouped themselves, who are doing the publishing activities, but to combine them and say we have an industry, I think we're still taking steps towards that. I'll continue referring to it as an industry because that's my wish. That's what I want this sector to grow into.
Yes.
So as a book publishing sector, we belong to the ministry, which is Ministry of Local Government, Arts and Culture. So we are in the Arts and Culture section. But because as publishers, our main market of books is the educational books, it means we are also affiliated to the Ministry of Education, which is responsible for teaching and learning materials. So in terms of that's the background I would give to about what our industry looks like, if we may call it that. In terms of maybe now coming to the question that you've raised in terms of what challenges women face in the publishing industry. Unfortunately, we don't have many of them, so it's not it wouldn't give the best picture. We have quite a few women who are writers, and obviously mostly they are self-published. In terms of the publishers as registered or not registered but still doing some publishing, the women that would come out and say, yeah, these are publishers are very few. For example, we have in our association, Publishers Association, we have about 17 registered members as in publishing houses. Out of that 17, the publishing houses that have active women taking a leading role or some senior role, there are only 3.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, so it would be myself and the 2 others. The other one is an owner of the publishing house, come bookseller, and the other is the owner coming from a background of being a writer. So that's already an imbalance that we have as an association or as an industry in the country. So obviously we will say that's obvious, an obvious challenge, because it's difficult to talk about overall challenges when the ground, you're not even there on the ground as women.
Yeah, that is true. Like, if you don't have the seat at the table, then you are not part of the discussions and the decisions being made.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, so do you think there are like challenges that are due to cultural norms or gender biases that are particular to these women leaders in the publishing?
I think it's more to do with maybe our cultural or educational backgrounds. Cultural as in society, but as I've said, we've got women that are writers, and obviously the numbers would not match. I wouldn't say there is equal representation of women writers and men who are writing. But at least in terms of writing, there are women that are writing. And later, as a publisher, obviously I interact with a lot of them, a few of them, and some of the challenges that they confess or meet are challenges that would also apply to the publishing desk. In terms of time, as a woman, you apart from after the time that you can put aside to write or to put something and to paper is maybe after work. But that's the time that you also expected to look after the house, make sure there is food, make sure everything is in place, which is different to a male counterpart who will not go from tea and put their legs up and have their cup of coffee and they can go and sit on a desk. They will not be disturbed.
Yeah.
So I think it's similar to it's the same kind of work as in publishing, and so because of the fact that as you realized, I've mentioned that as a woman you do your publishing work maybe after work. What it means is that in our industry, for the writers that we have, they're not full-time writers. Writing is not their main job. It's a side job or a side activity that they do, and it goes back to how we are set up in our society, that arts and culture are not really careers. They are not really careers that one can pursue and make a living out of, say, writing or publishing. So I think it's all got to do with the setup or the platform or the background of how our society and our communities come from.
Yeah, thank you so much. So now that we discussed like some challenges, because we know there are so many, but we can touch on that particular subject in another episode. We talked about challenges. So how can we encourage more Malawian or African women to pursue careers in publishing? Like what strategies can we do to attract and retain women in publishing roles?
I think if the industry was, I'll use the word regularized loosely. If it was recognized as an economic activity, publishing as an economic activity that would contribute to the development of the nation, that would be a starting point. Because what that would mean is that at government level, we would have policies, we would have deliberate policies that would encourage or lay a good environment for people, both male and female, to take up publishing as a serious career. And obviously it will lead to maybe our universities offering courses that would take one into a career to pursue as a publisher. The current crop of publishers that we have, they come from a background of being a teacher, and then they join a publishing company, and so it's an on-job training that makes you go through and you end up being identified as a teacher. I'm one of them. I didn't do any course that says I'm pursuing a career in book publishing. So I think at that level, at that government level, that's something that could be done to set the agenda, to set the environment correct, so that it can be pursued. Publishing can be pursued as a career. In terms of being specific to say how can we encourage women to be in publishing, let alone be able to take leadership roles in their companies. So far we've got deliberate attempts that have been made by different associations. For example, we have a Malawi Writers Union. We have Poetry Association of Malawi. They have deliberately have a designated desk which they call women's desk.
Oh, I like that.
So, as an association, they will have a women's desk. It means works that are submitted, that have been written and submitted by women, would go through that desk to encourage more women to keep writing. Maybe that's something, but that's something that could be done in publishing. But the fact that it is working at the development of the works, I think it gives hope that perhaps those can graduate into wanting to pursue a career in publishing.
Yeah, you talked about something that is really important, like the problem with training, like professional training in Malawi, and I think in general on the continent. And almost all publishers I know, like, yeah, the majority, if not like more than 95%, are people who never did like any professional training in publishing or writing whatsoever. So like all of you guys, they are like entrepreneurs, and that's why I really did this podcast, like to highlight how entrepreneurship is like the foundation of publishing in Africa. And you mentioned something else, like how you have like these small clusters in the associations that are really focusing on women's roles in those associations. And it is interesting because it seems there is a pattern of peer learning as the model, I would say, like training for people in this industry. And it is interesting, and good work for that. Yeah, you're doing. So, Maureen, in your experience, what impact do you think women have on content creation and the representation? So, like, here I'm talking about women's perspectives, how they influence the stories and narratives being presented in published works in Malawi, and how does diverse representation benefit the industry?
Naturally, I think we all know that, maybe because we talkative, but women are great storytellers.
I agree.
The fact that you can be a great storyteller, you are a content creator. That's content. And in our societies and communities, women are said to be the custodians of the cultural heritage for a society, and they're the ones that will transfer it from one generation to the other through the activities that they'll do on day-to-day basis. So that making them great content creators, obviously it has an impact on the kind of books that are being published, or the kind of stories that are being written or told orally or written. So it is also said that no one writes from a vacuum. Everyone will write in response to the environment that they are in. So obviously, women's perspective will have an impact on the materials that are being published for a particular section or a particular community, and for the case of Malawi, I guess if you go out there and read storybooks or children books or short stories that are written by women, you can tell the difference. And we usually say, like in our communities, to say grandmothers are the best evening short story tellers. So that just emphasizes the fact that women are great content creators, and they can influence. Indeed, they do actually influence the presentation of the published works that are in a particular country, and Malawi is one of them. What that does to benefit the industry is that people, the reader from within or outside the country, they're more informed about our country. They have a perspective of how things are running or whatever, because it has been told creatively, obviously, by a woman.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so glad you mentioned the storybooks and picture books as the perfect examples where you can see the impact of women. I'm so glad you touched on it. Yes, my favorite subject, but also because everyone has been on the continent. When you do like situation analysis and hear about the history of like children's literature in those countries, you always pioneers are women. Like it's crazy that there are women that are the ones who feel more connected to children's literature here. And they will be the ones to write the stories, to publish. Maybe like because of the training programs we mentioned before, it is difficult to find women illustrators, but when you do like training, you can see like a clear difference, particularly when it comes to drawing, like small children, like the expressions, the movements. It is so different. Even the subjects they choose, they are that different from men. And I've been so interested in doing like some small observations. You notice things. And I'm so glad you talked about that. And before I move to another question, because this is a subject I'm so passionate about.
I know we could talk about it for ages.
I know. What you said, like grandmothers. This is this third episode of the podcast, and my first guest, she's a friend. When she started writing, when she was in secondary school, like high school, and all her beta readers were like her friends, like her girlfriends. And my second guest, she's a writer, and she also co-founded a community library in her village. Actually, I remember a time when she said that she learned the art of storytelling from her grandmother. So you see, like it's like a cycle of like women wisdom that keeps keeps going on,
going around, and it moves from one generation to the other.
Exactly, and I'm so glad you touched on those topics. But like, let's move to the next question.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Maureen, can you please tell us why is gender equality essential for a thriving publishing sector? Like how?
It is essential for the. As I've said already, in the case of Malawi, we can't even start beginning talking about gender equality when the numbers are not even there. So I think the emphasis for our industry in Malawi should be let's build up this industry. Let's make it a vibrant industry. Let's have an enabling environment where people can work from as publishers, as writers, because once you have that environment, it means you have more people writing. people cannot just be writing without being published. So it works both ways. Once we achieve that, then we'll move to the next stage to say, how are we doing in terms of gender equality? Because that is again crucial. That is also important. We're just talking here that women are great content creators. Whatever it is that they are creating, where are they having it published? They should have it published, and shouldn't they be, as women, be on the table where decisions are being made about publishing? What are we publishing? Or who is going to take this assignment or that? So it's essential that we talk about gender equality and ensure and strive that it should be one sector that, as a publishing industry, women should be encouraged to write and to publish their works, but also to be the decision makers on the publishing table.
Yeah.
Because another point to it would be women have a sharp eye for things. So obviously, if you have a woman on the table making decisions or contributing to the decisions of a publishing company, it means you're safe. You will not have I's and R's at the wrong place.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And diversity also allows for better creativity, innovation, better business strategy, leading to better business outcomes. So yeah, we encourage everyone, please, we'd like to think about strategies to ensure there is gender equality in this industry. Talking about that.
And what we're talking about gender equality in publishing, it's not unique to Malawi. I think it's Africa. It's Africa. The challenges that we as publishers and particularly women meet are similar across the continent. Just as you said in your introduction that I'm board secretary for APNET. I'm the only female in that board.
Oh no!
So that tells a story.
Yeah.
That tells a story. Where are the other women that are writing and publishing? So you get mentorship programs where they want to mentor or train women that are in publishing, but you look around, there is none. So it's an area indeed, not just as Malawi but as Africa, that we should look into. And I'm glad that sitting on the table at APNET, I'm able to influence some activities that we can do to promote women in publishing across the country.
Yeah, and that's why I'm such a big fan of yours.
Yeah.
So okay, continuing on that in that line, how can you amplify women's voices in African literature and publishing?
I believe that you cannot talk about publishing without talking about the writers, the authors, the editors, the illustrators.
Yes.
So all the whole stakeholders, the book chain. So how we can get the women voices to amplify African literature and publishing is to empower all women at each and every stage. publishing companies or publishing houses should make deliberate efforts to work with women writers, work with women editors, work with the illustrators that are women. NGOs that want, obviously you know where I'm going with this. NGOs, for example, NGOs that want to produce materials for, let's say, children books. Put it out there and say we want to work with women illustrators, women editors, women writers, and then it will be published. That way we're building a pool of women, and we're empowering women that can put together their art to bring about a book that can be published. So deliberate efforts have to be done from different angles, from the government, from the publishing houses themselves, as they beefing up the human resource.
Yeah.
Make deliberate efforts to say we want to have a woman on board. Let a woman lead the editorial team. Let the woman lead the commissioning team. As we said already, publishing, there hasn't been anyone that has gone into class and then graduated from there and then go and be in a publishing company. It's an on-job training. You go onto the job. In the process, you get trainings, you get courses, you get mentorships, and you rise up the ladders of publishing. So it starts from being an editor. Before you know it, you're making decisions about the company.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I support your recommendation. Like all these stakeholders, the government, the NGOs, civil society, even the communities and people are doing this business, from the writer to the publisher, editor, illustrator, distributor, bookseller, librarian. Everyone should actively, proactively contribute to this to make sure that women are represented, they are recognized for their efforts to try to be part of this important industry.
Sure.
Yes. And my next question, we're coming to the end. So now we'll talk about men. What role can men play in advancing gender equality in publishing in Africa?
I think I may have in my last answer I may have touched on it. Let's have a dialogue around the subject. But also because they are in charge of these publishing outfits. Let them make deliberate efforts, as I've said. Make deliberate efforts, say at recruitment.
Yes.
Give a chance. Not that because they're a woman, but if their credentials they are qualified to do that kind of work, give them a chance, and so that they can grow into the industry. They will, as men, they will not know what they are missing in not having a woman on the table that decisions are made about publishing. Until they try it, that's when they will realize, we needed to have indeed a woman to be part of the decision making as a publishing company. So those are some of the deliberate efforts that publishing houses that are led by men, which are most of them, can do to support women's advancement and empowerment into taking leading roles. And that would help also in challenging the stereotypes that we have as communities. To say maybe women can't lead. But we are now in changing times. Things have changed. We have so many women leaders in all the other sectors. Why not in publishing? It should be easy for women to lead in publishing. So I like the we would want to encourage the different associations and sectors that deliberately have a unit where women interaction or women works are given preferential eye, and because that it starts from there, and the generation that it comes before after us will be inspired to say, we have so and so as leaders in publishing. I can also make it. Exactly. but that will take us the existing people to make deliberate decisions towards that.
Yeah, I agree, and it also starts with the family, like from our male family members, friends, like community members, to business, to the business environment in general, but also from the public sector policymakers who need to reflect those deliberate intents in their reports, and the policies, regulations, etc.
I usually come across one or two friends that, in talking, they will mention to say, my daughter likes to write or likes to draw. Write poems. I will usually tell them, please encourage that, nurture that skill, because that's where it starts from. If I'm just agreeing with you that as families also we have a role to play in our children, how they will look at industries like publishing or writing or any form of art. If they start appreciating art at a younger age, it means they'll have an open mind and think, I can do this and be a leader somewhere in any of the arts and culture sectors.
So this is the end of our podcast. I wish it could be longer. So thank you so much.
I told you that there's so much that we can talk about books.
I know.
And I'm hoping that we'll get a chance at some point that we can talk just children books.
Yes, sure.
Since the last time you and I interacted in UAE, yes. I think the ideas we shared and what has been happening on the ground, there's just a lot that we can talk about children books, and I think it's an interesting area that we need to promote and take it out there for people to appreciate how important it is, especially in Africa. About children books. But I must congratulate you for coming up with this idea that we can be sharing a platform where we can talk publishing, where we can talk about books, where we can talk about what we do, because it's come to my attention that people don't understand what publishing is.
Yeah, that is true.
So when you talk about publishing, they'll think you're a printer. So this is the beginning of a conversation whereby we can unpack so that people understand what publishing is, and that printing is just one component of the publishing activities as an industry.
I agree. So Maureen, I want to book
up the good work that you have started.
Yeah, now I'm going to book 2 additional episodes with you, one on the children's books, another one on these misconceptions people have on the continent. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
Maureen.
I'll be glad yeah, those are subjects that we should indeed be talking about.
Yeah, sure. So thank you so
Yeah.
much. And talk to you soon.
Thank you very much for having me, and have a blessed day.
Yeah, bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Now that you've glimpsed into the vibrant world of Rwandan writing and African book and reading space, and the entrepreneurs shaping its future, it's time to be part of the narrative. Support these incredible voices by exploring their works, sharing their favorite reads, and connecting with the authors and publishers we've featured. Visit our pages for more exclusive content, behind the scenes stories, and updates on upcoming episodes. Join the conversation on social media using hashtag #MakingBooksInKigali. Together, let's amplify the impact of these storytellers and continue to celebrate the diverse narratives that make our world richer. Your involvement makes a difference. Keep reading, keep listening, and keep making books matter. Thank you for embarking on this literary journey with us on Making Books in Kigali. We hope these stories of perseverance and creativity have sparked your curiosity and kindled a flame for Rwandan and African literature. Remember, each book has a story beyond its pages, and so do the incredible minds behind them. Keep turning the pages of inspiration, and until next time, keep making books a part of your extraordinary journey. Stay inspired, stay curious, and keep making your mark on the world. This is Making Books in Kigali, signing off.